Good morning, everyone. Have you ever found yourself in a moment where words simply failed you, where no expression, no gesture could truly capture what you felt? That is the power of being left speechless. Today, I want to take you on a journey where we dive into those rare moments that take our breath away, not because they overwhelm us with complexity, but because they touch us in ways we can't easily explain. These are moments of awe, of realization, of pure connection. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and marveled at the infinite stars? In that moment, you realize how vast the universe is and how small we are. But instead of feeling insignificant, we feel connected, part of something much bigger than ourselves. There's no need for words then, because the beauty of the stars speaks for itself. So how about the time when a single act of kindness witnessed by chance made your heart swell with gratitude? Perhaps it was someone paying for a stranger's meal or a child comforting a friend. These moments remind us that deep down, humanity is wired for compassion. And in those seconds when you see love and kindness in action, you don't need to say anything. You just feel it. We often think of being speechless as something that only happens in extraordinary circumstances, but I want you to realize it happens every day in the smallest ways. Think of a mother's face the first time she holds her newborn child, or an artist staring at their finished work, realizing that their creation is finally complete. In those moments, there are no words powerful enough to capture the emotions. These moments transcend language. Sometimes it's not the beauty of the world that leaves us without words, it's the profound realizations we have about ourselves. Have you ever achieved something you once thought was impossible? There's a quiet, personal victory in that moment. It's not about others applauding your success. It's about knowing deep inside that you've crossed a threshold. In those moments, you're not just speechless, you're transformed. Now, let me ask you, what if we embrace these moments more often? What if we stopped filling every silence with words, every pause with noise? What if we allowed ourselves to be speechless, to sit in that stillness, in that feeling, and just let the moment wash over us? Imagine the impact on our lives. We'd find beauty in places we've never looked before. We'd discover strengths we didn't know we had. We'd feel more deeply, live more fully, and connect more genuinely with the world around us. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it's a rare gift to be left speechless. It reminds us that sometimes the most profound experiences don't require explanation. They simply are. When we think about the moments that truly leave us without words, one of the most powerful forces at play is awe. Awe has a unique way of sneaking up on us, catching us off guard in the most unexpected ways. It's that feeling you get when you stand at the edge of the ocean and realize the vastness of the water before you. Each wave rolling in feels like a heartbeat of the earth itself. And suddenly you feel small, not in a way that diminishes your worth, but in a way that makes you feel connected to something much greater than yourself. There's no need to speak in those moments because the magnitude of what you're witnessing has already filled the air. Words seem inadequate, even unnecessary. Awe doesn't just come from nature, though. It can be sparked by human achievement, acts of courage, or even simple acts of kindness. Imagine watching a group of people, strangers to each other, come together in a moment of crisis. A passerby sees someone in need and without hesitation offers help, not out of obligation, but out of an intrinsic desire to do good. There's no fanfare, no expectation of a reward. It's just pure, unfiltered humanity in action. In those moments, there's no need to comment or explain. We feel it. The sheer beauty of witnessing such kindness renders us silent, because it stirs something so deep within us that it cannot be articulated. We also experience awe in the presence of creation, whether it's art, music, or a monumental discovery. Think about standing in front of a masterpiece in a gallery where every brushstroke tells a story, every shade of color conveys emotion, or being in an audience when a piece of music hits that one perfect note, resonating with every soul in the room. You don't need to be an art critic or a musician to understand the power of these moments. You feel it viscerally. There's a collective intake of breath, and suddenly no one can quite describe what's happening. Everyone is united in the shared experience of awe. Awe also arises when we confront the limits of our understanding. Think about gazing up at the stars on a clear night. The sky stretches infinitely in every direction, and you know that out there, beyond what you can see, are entire galaxies, black holes, stars being born and dying. And here you are, one person on one planet looking up. It's humbling to realize how vast the universe is, and yet in that moment, you feel connected to it in a profound way. There are no words that can capture the depth of that feeling, and that's the beauty of it. We don't need words. The experience itself says everything. Awe leaves us speechless not because it overwhelms us, but because it touches something so fundamental within us that it transcends language. It reminds us that some experiences in life are beyond explanation. They exist to be felt, to be lived. And in those moments of awe, we are reminded of the wonder of simply being alive. We often associate moments of being speechless with extraordinary, once-in-a-lifetime experiences, but in reality, these moments can happen every day in the most ordinary situations. It's not always about standing before something grand and monumental. Sometimes it's the quiet, everyday encounters that take our breath away, often in ways we don't expect. Consider the simple act of waking up early and watching the sunrise. You may have seen it dozens of times before, but on one particular morning, the colors seem a little more vibrant, the air feels a little crisper, and in that peaceful moment, time seems to slow down. The world, in all its quiet beauty, is waking up, and so are you for words. There's no need for words because the experience speaks for itself. It's not a rare occurrence, but something about that moment feels different. And it leaves you with a sense of calm wonder, appreciating the simplicity of a new day. Then there are the times when we witness something truly human, something so real and raw that it catches us off guard. Imagine walking through a busy city street, surrounded by the usual rush of life, when you spot a small gesture of kindness. Maybe it's a person helping an elderly stranger cross the road, or a child spontaneously offering their toy to another. These acts happen every day, and yet in that moment they seem to glow with a kind of quiet magic. You're reminded of the goodness in people, of the small ways we can impact each other's lives without expecting anything in return. It's a moment that, though fleeting, touches you deeply. No one around you is talking about it. They're just feeling it, just like you are. Sometimes these everyday moments remind us that words aren't necessary when the action itself holds all the meaning. We also experience being speechless in the quiet achievements we accomplish on our own. Think about a time when you finally completed something you've been working on for days, weeks, or even years, whether it's finishing a project at work, mastering a new skill, or overcoming a personal challenge. There's no parade or fanfare when it happens. It could be as simple as crossing the finish line after a long race, or finally reaching a goal you set for yourself months ago. In that moment, you don't need applause from others. What you feel is a quiet sense of pride and accomplishment. You stand there, maybe by yourself, and reflect on what you've just done. It's not about the words that come after. It's about the feeling you have in your chest, the sense that you did it. That moment belongs to you and needs no explanation. Sometimes it's the ordinary routines of life that suddenly surprise us with their ability to leave us speechless. Consider a moment when you're spending time with a loved one, someone you see every day, perhaps. You're having a simple conversation, maybe about nothing in particular, and then something happens. It could be a glance, a smile, or even just the quiet company of sitting together without saying much. All at once, you're hit with a wave of emotion, gratitude, love, or perhaps a deep sense of connection. Do you realize that these everyday moments, the ones we often take for granted, are the ones that truly matter? You don't need to fill the silence with words. You simply exist in that moment, and that's enough. The connection speaks for itself, leaving you in awe of the beauty found in the ordinary. Even the struggles of everyday life can leave us speechless at times. Think about the days when things seem tough and you're not sure if you'll get through it. Then, out of nowhere, someone reaches out to help, or you find strength within yourself that you didn't know was there. In those moments, there's no dramatic outburst, no sudden realization that everything has changed. Instead, it's a quiet resilience that leaves you in awe of your own ability to endure. It's a reminder that even in the most difficult of times, there is something within us that is unbreakable, something that can't always be put into words. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, we often overlook the moments that can leave us truly speechless. These moments don't need to be grand or extraordinary to make an impact. They happen in the quiet spaces, in the simple acts of kindness, in the love we share, and in the personal victories that no one else sees. It's in these everyday moments that we find the power to pause, reflect, and simply be without the need for words to explain or express what we're feeling. Life's most profound experiences often come not from what we say, but from what we allow ourselves to feel quietly and deeply. And sometimes the everyday moments are the ones that hold the most meaning, reminding us that the most powerful emotions don't always need to be spoken aloud. Self-reflection is a powerful catalyst for personal growth, a journey that requires us to turn our gaze inward and confront our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It is often during these moments of introspection that we find ourselves speechless, grappling with insights that challenge our understanding of who we are and who we want to be. The process of self-reflection can feel overwhelming, yet it is in that silence, in the absence of distractions, that we uncover the truths about ourselves that may have been hidden beneath the surface. Consider a time when you faced a significant challenge or setback. Perhaps it was a failure at work, a difficult relationship, or a moment of deep disappointment. In those instances, we often find ourselves at a crossroads, standing before the choice to either ignore the lessons of the experience or confront them head on. It's in these moments of contemplation that we may feel speechless. We wrestle with the feelings of shame, frustration, or even despair, unsure of how to articulate the complexities of our emotions. Yet, if we allow ourselves to sit with these feelings, to reflect on what they mean and how they have shaped us, we open the door to profound personal growth. Through self-reflection, we can begin to identify patterns in our behavior, beliefs, and choices. We may realize that certain reactions we have are not just responses to the present situation, but are rooted in past experiences or fears. For instance, you might find that your tendency to withdraw in conflict stems from an earlier experience of being unheard or unvalued. This realization can be both liberating and daunting. It requires us to take responsibility for our reactions and understand how they impact our relationships and overall well-being. This process of understanding can leave us momentarily speechless as we grapple with the realization that we have the power to change our narrative. Moreover, self-reflection encourages us to evaluate our values and aspirations. In a world that often pressures us to conform to societal expectations or to chase superficial successes, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us. Taking the time to reflect allows us to reconnect with our core values and desires. We may discover that our passion lies not in the pursuit of wealth or status, but in creativity, community, or helping others. This revelation can lead to a profound sense of alignment as we recognize the importance of living authentically. When we realize that we've been living out someone else's vision for our lives, it can leave us speechless, not just because of the shock, but because we've tapped into something real, something that resonates deeply within us. As we engage in self-reflection, we also confront our fears and insecurities. It's all too common to shy away from these uncomfortable feelings, to bury them under layers of distraction and denial. However, true growth requires us to face these fears, to articulate what they are and where they come from. In doing so, we may find that our fears are often exaggerated or unfounded. This confrontation can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff, peering into the depths of our insecurities. Yet, as we look into that abyss, we may find clarity. We may realize that our fear of failure, for example, is intertwined with our desire for perfectionism. Acknowledging this can be liberating. It allows us to let go of the need to be perfect and embrace the beauty of imperfection. Additionally, self-reflection fosters empathy and compassion, not only towards ourselves, but towards others. As we understand our own struggles and the complexity of our emotions, we become better equipped to relate to the experiences of those around us. This deepening of understanding can leave us speechless as we recognize the shared human experience that binds us all together. In moments of reflection, we often realize that others, too, are grappling with their own challenges, their own fears, and their own growth. This recognition can inspire us to reach out, offer support, and build deeper connections. Furthermore, self-reflection is an ongoing process. It is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey of exploration and growth. As we evolve, our reflections will also change. What resonates with us today may differ tomorrow. This fluidity is a natural part of being human. We must allow ourselves the grace to grow, to change, and to redefine our goals and aspirations as we learn about ourselves. Embracing this journey means being open to the surprises and challenges that life throws our way. Sometimes we may find ourselves at a loss for words as we navigate these shifts, overwhelmed by the beauty and complexity of our evolving selves. Ultimately, self-reflection leads to a deeper understanding of who we are and what we want from life. It empowers us to make choices aligned with our true selves rather than external expectations. As we engage in this introspective practice, we may find ourselves speechless, not just in moments of realization, but also in gratitude for the journey we are on. Each insight, each lesson learned, and each moment of growth contributes to a richer, more fulfilling life. And in that silence, we find a profound appreciation for the gift of self-discovery and the endless possibilities that lie ahead. In our fast-paced world, where the noise of everyday life often drowns out our thoughts and feelings, the idea of embracing silence can feel foreign, even daunting. Yet within the quiet moments lies a profound power that many of us overlook. Embracing silence is not merely about the absence of sound. It is about creating space for introspection, clarity, and genuine connection with ourselves and others. It is in these moments of stillness that we can truly listen, not just to the world around us, but to our inner selves. When we allow ourselves to sit in silence, we create a sanctuary for reflection. It's an opportunity to pause and assess our lives without the distractions of technology, social media, or even the hum of conversation. How often do we take a moment to simply breathe, to feel the rhythm of our heartbeat, or to acknowledge the thoughts that flit through our minds? By embracing silence, we cultivate a practice of mindfulness that allows us to connect deeply with our emotions and experiences. In that quiet space, we can sift through our feelings, understand our motivations, and confront the aspects of ourselves that we may otherwise ignore. Silence can also be a powerful tool for creativity. Many artists, writers, and thinkers have long recognized that inspiration often strikes in moments of solitude. When we silence the external chatter, we open ourselves up to the whispers of creativity that lie within. Ideas can emerge organically when we are not bombarded by noise, allowing us to explore new perspectives and innovative solutions. Imagine sitting in a quiet room, allowing your mind to wander freely. In those moments, the most unexpected thoughts can surface, ideas that might lead to breakthroughs in your work, art, or personal life. By embracing silence, we create fertile ground for our imaginations to flourish. So moreover, embracing silence enhances our ability to listen to others. In conversations, we often feel the urge to fill every pause with words, fearing silence will create discomfort. However, when we learn to appreciate those pauses, we give others the space to express themselves fully. Silence in conversation is not a void, it is an opportunity for reflection and deeper understanding. That when we allow others to speak without interruption, we validate their thoughts and feelings, fostering genuine connection. This practice can transform our relationships, creating a safe space where individuals feel heard and valued. In these moments, the silence becomes a bridge between hearts, allowing for more profound and meaningful interactions. The act of embracing silence can also serve as a form of self-care. In a society that glorifies busyness and constant productivity, it's essential to carve out time for ourselves, a time to disconnect from the external demands of life. Embracing silence allows us to recharge our mental and emotional batteries. It can be as simple as taking a walk in nature, sitting in a quiet room, or engaging in a mindfulness practice like meditation. In these moments of solitude, we can listen to our own needs, check in with our mental state, and cultivate a sense of peace within ourselves. This intentional practice of embracing silence can lead to reduced stress, increased clarity, and a renewed sense of purpose. Furthermore, silence can help us confront our fears and insecurities. In the quiet, we are forced to face the thoughts that we often push aside. The fears that lurk in the corners of our minds can be intimidating, but when we sit with them, we often discover that they lose their power. In the stillness, we can examine these fears and understand their origins. We can ask ourselves why they exist and whether they hold any truth. This process of reflection can be liberating, allowing us to confront our insecurities and emerge with a clearer sense of self. Instead of running away from our fears, we learn to embrace them, transforming silence into a space of growth and empowerment. Embracing silence is also a way to cultivate gratitude. In the hustle and bustle of life, we often forget to appreciate the small, beautiful moments that surround us. When we take the time to be silent and observe, we begin to notice the intricacies of life that often go unnoticed: the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind, the soft glow of the sunset, or the laughter of a loved one. These simple joys can fill our hearts with gratitude, reminding us of the beauty in the world. When we embrace silence, we allow ourselves to experience these moments fully, enriching our lives with appreciation and mindfulness. Finally, in embracing silence, we find a deeper connection to our spirituality. For many, silence is a pathway to understanding their place in the universe, a way to connect with something greater than themselves. Whether through prayer, meditation, or quiet contemplation, silence can serve as a bridge to our spiritual selves. In these moments, we may feel a sense of unity with the world around us, tapping into a wellspring of peace and understanding. This connection can be grounding, helping us navigate the complexities of life with a sense of purpose and clarity. In conclusion, embracing silence is an invaluable practice that allows us to reconnect with ourselves and the world around us. It is an invitation to pause, reflect, and listen deeply to ourselves, to others, and to the beauty of life. By creating space for silence, we unlock the potential for creativity, understanding, and growth. In a world that often glorifies noise and distraction, let us remember the profound power that silence holds. Let us not shy away from it, but instead welcome it with open arms, allowing it to transform our lives in meaningful ways. In silence, we find clarity, connection, and a deeper appreciation for the richness of our existence. So as I leave you today, I want to challenge you, look for those moments. Seek out the beauty, the kindness, the awe. And when you find it, when words fail, you don't rush to fill the silence. Let it leave you speechless. Thank you.